What's up, everybody? Evan here for grips.com, continuing with Project Get Me Stackin. Today I'm going to be doing a special episode. I didn't receive a formal question regarding this topic, but it is World Series of Poker time, and I know a lot of you guys out there have either qualified for series events, other events in Vegas, and well, people are always winning seats to big events, and for many of you, it may be your first time ever playing a live tournament, a live deep stack tournament. So I wanted to give you guys some insight as to how to prepare for a live tournament so you can have the best chance at being successful. So for this episode, as I said, I'd like to talk about how to prepare for a live tournament. Now, before I get into the presentation, I want to say that the most important thing when going to play a live tournament is knowing your stuff, ideally knowing it cold. Make sure you know the MTT strategy guide inside out and try to get as much practice in beforehand. This includes playing tournaments online and playing live sessions. Cash is also okay. The important thing is that you're comfortable at the table and comfortable playing tournament poker. If for whatever reason you feel uncomfortable or feel out of your element, your performance will suffer. When fear is a factor in your decision making, failure is the most likely result. So confidence is key. Do whatever you can to build that confidence before the big day. Anyway, just wanted to get that out there. Watching this episode of Get Me Stackin isn't going to teach you everything you need to know about tournament poker, but if your foundation is already solid, this video may give you the edge you need to perform at your peak when it matters most. So let's get into the presentation. This presentation is about the meta factors that you need to think about when preparing for a live tournament. Math, strategies, ranges for different positions, all this stuff is fairly straightforward. In these events, many of the players have very strong A games, but when it comes time to play, a lot of them don't bring their A game to the table. And knowing this simple fact should give you a good amount of confidence. Because even named pros get burnt out from playing a heavy schedule or from mixing it up with too much partying and not enough sleep before the big day. And this is a big edge for you. So given that you know your stuff, how else would you have been able to win a qualifier? Recognize that now is not the time for studying. Trying to learn new things right before you play is gonna mess with your brain. And if you're trying to implement new moves that you have little experience using, odds are pretty high that you're going to use them at the wrong time. Stick with what got you to this point. It's probably enough to get you way farther than you give yourself credit for. I can say from personal experience that one year at the World Series of Poker, after bricking a few events, I lost confidence in my play and decided I needed to learn some more things. I joined Poker VT and did some of that last-minute cramming. I learned a move called the Johnny Chan play, and I successfully used that move to dust off 25% of my stack early in the main event that year. Needless to say, if I just recognized that tournaments are very high variance, accepted that maybe that was the cause of my poor start that year, rather than me having a lack of skill, I probably could have maintained my confidence and had a much better showing. The big thing is that as soon as you start second guessing yourself and that doubt creeps in, fear takes over. And fear should never be your driving force at a poker table. When you know your stuff, you're fine. And you know your stuff, that's why you're going to play this event. Let me say that one more time. You know your stuff, that's why you are able to play this event. Acknowledge that and reflect that in your play. Mental preparation is a key factor when approaching live tournaments. You're probably going to experience some swings in your event. There are going to be highs when you're running pure, and there are going to be lows when your opponents are the ones getting hit by the deck. It's important that you just take this for what it is, the natural swings of the game, and not let it affect your play. Simple laws of numbers state that some players will acquire massive stacks in the early stages, and you are just as likely to be that player as anyone else. But that doesn't mean it's imperative that you build your stack early. You may be completely card dead for the first 6 hours. You may be card dead for the entire first day. What's important is that you play your cards and your spots as best as you can. And don't get emotional. Don't get frustrated, angry, jealous, or envious of other players' stacks. If a bad player has gotten lucky to build up a big stack, he's probably going to find a way to give it away. So as long as you're still in the tournament, you could be the player that he donks those chips off to. Building on this, live tournaments are a serious grind. You're looking at 8, potentially 12, or even 16-hour days sometimes. And you have to be prepared for this. You can't only have 6 hours worth of gas in the tank and plan on checking out at dinner time. So if this means that you have some of your favorite music to get you through the day, or you only give 60% focus on the less significant hands and 100% during the big hands, that's fine. Obviously, it's preferable to get as much information as possible, but our brains can only process so much information, and it's important that you conserve your mental energy for when you need it most. Just as a long-distance runner saves his or her big burst of energy for when it's time to close out the race. Tournament poker is a marathon, not a sprint. Make sure your brain knows this. As you can probably tell, one of the biggest keys to success in live events is being prepared to win. You have to tell yourself that you have what it takes to win and that you're just as good as these name pros and internet wizards in the field. You have to feel comfortable in your environment, and the best way to do that is to have spent time there before you actually play. Even if it's just walking through the tournament room the night before, it makes a difference. The more familiar you are with your setting, the staff, the dealers, everything, the more at ease you will feel. You have to take the right pit stops during the race day, but you also have to come in with a full tank of gas. So continuing on with keeping your energy up, since that really is your biggest weapon in these long events. Eating properly and staying hydrated are going to be the easiest ways to have steady energy levels throughout the day. You also don't want to have to waste mental energy and stress worrying about where you're going to eat on dinner break or where you can buy a snack. So, scope out the scene the night before, maybe even pack some snacks. I know I've done this before at the World Series of Poker and it worked like a charm. Nuts, granola bars, beef jerky, and yogurt are my go-to snacks for a quick energy boost. If you want to go out for dinner, make the reservations the night before or have a friend make them for you during the day. You simply can't be spending your precious energy thinking about things like this on the big day. You can't be wasting your time, trying to figure out where you're going to eat because you only have limited time for your dinner break. You need to be using your energy to be making the best decisions you can and nothing else. So building on the energy thing, please make sure you get enough rest the night before the tournament and make sure you get up early enough that your mind has time to settle. We all know how a lot of us are first thing in the morning. Things just don't work properly. You don't want to be sitting down at the table feeling drowsy and fatigued. The night before a big tournament can be stressful, and many players get anxious and have trouble sleeping. But worrying about the tournament before it starts won't do you any good. Do whatever helps you get a good night's sleep the night before. You'll thank yourself later when you see other players yawning or even falling asleep at the table. Trust me, there are always these types of players in the mix. I remember my first ever World Series of Poker event. Some guy took like 90 minutes to show up to his seat. It was just empty until he got there with his stack getting blinded off. And when he got there, he told us he hadn't slept from partying the night before. Needless to say, It didn't take long. In fact, it didn't even take an hour before he decided he was going to start going all in blind every hand. Simple fact here is fatigue is a huge killer. It takes away your spirits and desire because getting through the long day seems like an insurmountable task. So do yourself a favor, get your good night's sleep, and don't be that guy. Now you know that having all the fuel to the fire will be your key to success on tourney day, but you also have to fuel up your mind. So point number 5 is get pumped up. Ideally, this is something you would be practicing long before tournament day, so it's something you're used to doing. If your mind is going to perform to win, it has to be prepared to win. There are many methods for this. Some people like to do incantations, which is repeating a positive phrase over and over to build good feelings and positivity. Maybe you want to listen to some of your favorite songs. Maybe you want to watch an inspirational video, or maybe you want to get in some exercise and think about what you're thankful for in life. Whatever gets you excited and puts you in a positive mood is what you got to do. Because this day has the possibility to be the first of many big days in your life, and your attitude should reflect that. So when it's game time, make sure you walk into that room, chest high, big smile on your face, and a belief in your head that you can be the best decision maker in the room today. What's going to stop you from doing that? Why can't you be the best decision maker out there? Don't worry about how many chips you're going to finish the day with or have at dinner, because that's something you can't control. The cards have a mind of their own, and they're going to do what they're going to do. Also, don't be scared about getting knocked out in the first level. If a sick cooler happens, it happens. Your job is to make the best decisions you can make. You have to be willing to get your chips in early if it's a good spot. That's just part of being a winner. And if you get pumped up and put yourself in a positive place mentally, you are going to have a great shot at playing perfect poker today. And most importantly, once you've done everything you can to get ready, forget about any fear or worry. Just go out there and have fun. Poker tournaments are awesome. You get to meet all kinds of characters and play your favorite game with them. And most likely, you're going to be playing it better than them. Take in the experience. Don't think about anything that's happened in the past or what's going to happen later. Just be present and soak up every moment. If you're having fun and feeling great, you're probably going to be playing great too. So even if you don't do anything else mentioned in this presentation, have fun while you're out there on the felt. At the end of the day, it's just a poker tournament. Don't get nervous and don't let emotions take over. It's just a game. Whether you cash small or bust out early is not going to affect your day-to-day life. It shouldn't be the end of the world if you get knocked out. There's always going to be another tournament, and having this attitude is going to give you the edge you need. Because in order to win, you must be willing to die. If you only focus on the results, you go in there saying you got to win, 99% of the time you're going to come out empty-handed. If, on the other hand, you focus on what matters, playing your best and having fun, you're going to come out of there with a great story, and that's something you'll have forever. So just make sure you enjoy the experience, play your heart out, and if your stars are aligned that day, if everything is just serendipity and meant to happen, maybe, just maybe, there will be a nice, shiny trophy to go along with that story that you bring home. And that's what you got to do to get ready for live tournaments. If you guys have won a seat, you already know what you need to perform well. You already know the techniques and the moves you need to implement. No one's going to bust out some crazy tricks you haven't seen before. You just got to be calm, cool, and collected to get the job done. Okay? So I hope you guys found this special episode of Get Me Stackin helpful, and I wish you all the best in your tournament endeavors. The mental aspects of live tournaments is something that I've struggled with for a very long time. In the past, It took me a long time to actually start thinking about tournaments realistically. It took me a while to realize that you can't just go in there expecting to win every time or feeling like you need a win to change your situation. Because if you do, you're gonna come up empty-handed so often. It's really hard to actually win. You're also gonna feel so much more pressure and be so much more likely to collapse under it. And that is a big no-no. Okay, the players who win are often the guys who are the most relaxed and just going out there doing what they need to do. They are at peace with variance and know the most likely outcomes as well as the desired outcome. All you can do is play your best and let the chips fall where they may. Remember that an improbability does not equal an impossibility, and that we know for certain someone will win the tournament. There's no reason that that someone couldn't be you. We've already seen a couple of gripsters in the winner's circle. Hopefully you'll be joining them soon. And if you do, make sure to post a badass picture on the Facebook wall. I know I would be happy to throw out a like along with probably about 100 other people. So if you guys get the job done, let us shower you with some praise for your efforts. Okay, and that's going to do it for the presentation. So if you have any questions for Project Get Me Stackin, please send them on over to evan@grips.com with the subject line Get Me Stackin. Then hopefully I can answer your question and help you get stacking. Also, please, as always, leave your comments below on the video. Let me know what events you have coming up, what the structures are, what events you've had in the past, and after the events, let me know if this preparation guide was helpful for you and what sort of results you were able to achieve. I have a good feeling that at least one person this summer is going to have some really positive results if they apply these techniques mentioned here. And finally, if you're finding the Get Me Stackin project helpful and you want to get more videos, please just go ahead and subscribe to the channel below and you'll be notified anytime a new video is released. It's going to wrap it up. evanforgrips.com. I hope you found the video insightful and informative. And good luck on the tables. Hope you guys can bring home those big shiny trophies. Peace out.